So you've got a new job and a new house and everything's working out really well, but you're getting harassed by a 14-year-old girl.
This is ridiculous.
This is 1993's The Crush. I'm Jay Harangue and I've wasted hours of my life watching terrible films.
You should subscribe.
This is Nick and he's the main character.
Hi.
He's a journalist and he's just got a new job for Peak magazine in a new city, so he's looking for somewhere to live. He sees this guest house for rent.
I'll take it.
Before even looking inside.
What an idiot.
This is Adrian. She's the owner's 14-year-old daughter. She's decided to spy on her parents' new tenant and tells her friend Cheyenne to go in.
You got a name?
Cheyenne.
Oh, Indian, huh?
Excuse me?
That word is offensive.
They call her Pocahontas.
Adrian's like, what's he like?
Old.
Well, he's 28, but I suppose everything's relative. It's Nick's first day at work today, and here's where we meet the age-appropriate love interest, Amy.
New here? I can tell.
Yeah, you work there and you've never seen him in the office before. Grow up. Nick's boss Michael tells the audience that Nick is a brilliant researcher, but his writing is bang average. Michael assigns Nick to a story about this guy Levansky, who's embezzled money.
I'll expect something by Friday.
Oh yeah, Amy's gonna go with him to take photos. At the weekend, Nick is working on his car and Adrian is hanging around. She tries to get him to give her a ride to her horse jumping lesson or whatever she does, but he doesn't. At work, things are going well and Nick's making progress with this Levansky business. That night, he's on his computer and Adrian comes in. He starts boring her with work chat, but she's more interested in flirting.
You sure you're only 14?
Yeah, sorry, Nick. The next day, Nick goes jogging. When he gets home, he gets in the shower, and Adrian just lets herself into his house. She sees a photo of him as a kid, and she's like, can I have this? And he's like, no.
Please.
No.
But at least she gets to watch him get dressed. She's bought him a gift.
Cool.
No, not really. Then she asks if he's going to come to her parents' party on Saturday, and he says he'll think about it. The next day at work, Nick prints out his article and is about to hand it in to his boss, Michael. But when he looks at it, he's like, oh shit, I didn't write this. But Michael is seriously impressed with the work.
Thank you.
On Saturday night, Nick is piss bored, so he decides to go to Adrian's parents' party. Adrian asks him how his boss liked the article.
You rewrote it? Wait a minute, how'd you get in?
It ain't Fort Knox.
Adrian? You just can't go around doing that. It isn't right.
So clearly, Nick has a real grasp of right and wrong, which is why it's somewhat of a surprise when he drives 14-year-old Adrian to a lighthouse in the middle of the night and kisses her. He knows he's fucked up, so he drives her home and hits the vodka. But the next day, Adrian is forcing the issue. She gets Nick's attention with loud music and sunbathes outside his window, knowing he's going to be looking. We don't actually see Nick knocking one out under the cover of the blinds, but it's certainly implied. The next day, Adrian was on her way to see Nick when she sees Amy with him. Amy's wearing a rubbish hat and says mean things to Nick about Adrian. Later, Nick's holding a garden party in his garden. His boss Michael turns up unexpectedly to give Nick some big news. Levansky wants to meet him.
I suppose he saw something in the article that impressed him.
Then Michael gives Nick a gift.
It's a very fine bottle of wine.
Who says that? What an absolute twat. Anyway, he leaves and they all decide to toast marshmallows. So Amy goes into the orchard to find sticks. But oh no, she sees a wasp's nest. Adrian is there too, and she tells Amy all about how deadly wasps are. When they get back to the party, Amy sees Nick talking to this woman who's attractive for plot purposes and gets jealous.
Poor thing.
Oh, don't worry, Amy. Some guys really like girls with small breasts.
Amy's really pissed off about that comment and later tells Nick that she thinks Adrian has a crush on him and that he needs to be careful.
What, are you saying I did something to provoke this?
That's an outrageous claim. The next day while working, Nick gets a phone call from Adrian.
Got my period.
Thanks for that. Nick asks Adrian if she's taken the photo of him she mentioned earlier from his house, and she says no. But Nick suspects she's lying, so he goes around the house when she's out to try and find it. He goes up to her room. I'm not sure what the point of this scene is, but whatever. He doesn't find the photo, but he does find this pillow that she's crocheted. But oh no, she's not out. She's in and about to get in the shower. So Nick hides in her bedroom closet. As she's taking her clothes off, she hears movement in there, and guessing it's Nick, she gives him a show. Although we don't see Nick knocking one out in the closet, it's certainly implied. He hears her getting into the shower and thinks it's safe to escape. But oh no! Now her dad's home.
What are you doing here?
Well, I was just, returning a book.
Dave, could you give me a hand getting this stuff upstairs?
When they get to the attic with the boxes, we see this ridiculous carousel that her dad's been restoring for years. Then he starts talking to Nick about Adrian.
This past year, she's really blossomed. Physically, I mean.
I noticed.
He then tells Nick that he's probably going to cut the first guy who touches Adrian's cock off with these pliers. Then Adrian comes up and Nick's just about to leave.
Oh, Adrian.
What book did you loan Nick?
Oh, shit.
Well, that must have been Wuthering Heights. Did you like it?
She's not talking about the book.
Yes. Very much.
The next day, knowing this has all got way out of hand, Nick goes to speak to Adrian while she's playing on the swing. He's like, Adrian, we're friends and nothing more.
Like that night up at the lighthouse when we kissed?
Now that was a mistake, Adrian.
Was sneaking in to watch me undress a mistake too?
Nick gets angry, but Adrian just laughs in his face. So that's not gone to plan, has it?
No.
The next day, Nick's about to show Amy the new paint job on his car.
This is one of the finest pieces of iron ever came out of...
Confident Adrian did this, he goes to see her parents. They ask her if she did it, she denies it, and they take her word for it.
Oh, I see.
While he's out covering up the scratches with cardboard, Cheyenne approaches him. She's like, Nick, I need to speak to you about Adrian. Not here, though, in the orchard at 7 p.m. But Adrian's seen and heard this from her room. So the next day at horse jumping, she tampers with Cheyenne's horse chair, so she falls off and breaks her arm. At 7 p.m. that evening, Adrian shows up to meet Nick in the orchard. She's like, Cheyenne's in hospital. You'll end up there too if you're not careful. The next day, Nick's invited Amy round.
Have you ever been at the lighthouse? The makeout place.
Not since high school.
Nick took me. Maybe he'd take you sometime.
At an unspecified time later, Nick is at work and Michael and the team are excited to read his report on the Levansky interview. But there's a problem. The disc he's brought in is blank.
Oh, no.
Yes, that's right. Adrian has wiped it, along with every other copy of it at his house. He's like, that's it. As soon as I'm done rewriting this, I'm moving out. Nick then discovers a door under the rug that leads to a room with a Nick shrine Adrian made.
Obsessed much.
So he nails the door closed without telling anyone about it. While he's rewriting the article, Adrian keeps trying to call him, but he keeps hanging up, and Adrian gets in a mood. He goes to work, hands in the article, then finds a room at this woman Mrs. Tinkerman's house. When he gets back to the guest house, Amy comes over. They decide they really like each other, and then they bang, and Adrian cries. In the morning, when Amy goes to leave, she bumps into Adrian. Adrian's like, did you and Nick do it last night? Amy's like, grow up, Adrian.
When I grow up, I hope I can be just as smart as you.
Adrian?
Go play.
Ooh, she's not happy about that. So later, when Amy's developing photos in her garden shed, Adrian locks it and sends loads of angry wasps through the air vent.
Oh dear.
She's not dead, she's at the hospital. And Nick gets a phone call about this while Adrian's trying to convince him to come to a horse jumping competition. Nick hasn't turned up to the competition because he has some work event and Adrian is livid. So she shows up at Nick's work event and makes a scene.
Too busy kissing ass to care about me, is that it?
Furious, Nick drags Adrian off round the corner. But this makes it even worse as Adrian starts hitting him and screaming so that everyone can hear. He goes to Mrs. Tinkerman's house to try and move in immediately, but she tells him she doesn't rent to drug dealers. That's right, Adrian has ruined that too. Not sure why this scene is included, but on the way home, Nick decides to stop and look at some kids.
Okay.
When he gets home, the police are there, and Nick is arrested for sexual assault of a minor. Yep, Adrian has lied to the police. Her dad sees Nick and attacks him, and the police do a terrible job of separating them. At the station, Nick is trying to tell the police the real story. Well, most of it anyway, but they don't believe him.
Did you check out that room, the one with the shrine? Did you check it out?
No, they didn't.
And why is that?
We found semen inside of her.
What a revolting development.
So after Nick had sex with Amy, Adrian must have gone in and taken the used condom for future use. Later, Nick is bailed out, I assume by his boss Michael.
Well, that makes sense.
He's told that Adrian's parents are taking her away that night, at which point he can go and get all his stuff. Later, when he goes to pack up his things, Cheyenne comes to see him. She's like, I know you're innocent, Nick. And he's like, yeah, I am. She tells him that Adrian did the same to a camp counselor, and now he's dead.
He ate something poison. Everyone thought it was an accident. But Adrian knows stuff that other kids don't know. She knows about wasps, too.
Cheyenne tells Nick that Adrian has a diary and suggests Nick goes into the house to get it. He says he'll let the lawyers deal with it. But Cheyenne goes into the house to look for it herself. While Nick's packing up, he thinks he hears noise coming from the house. When he gets upstairs, he sees this in Adrian's room.
So this is what it takes to finally get you up here.
Nick's like, what have you done with Cheyenne? But all Adrian wants to talk about is their relationship. As Nick goes to look for Cheyenne, Adrian beats him with a stick. She's about to finish him off, but her dad comes home, so she runs back upstairs. Nick doesn't want to bump into her dad either, so he escapes to the attic. The carousel then comes on and Cheyenne is tied to one of the horses. Nick tries to untie her, but Adrian is back with her stick. Adrian's dad gets into the attic to see this, so understandably attacks Nick. Adrian then attacks her dad with the stick, and somehow he's knocked out. Then this happens.
How impressive.
At an unspecified time later, we see that Nick and Amy are together. Yeah. And Nick has some mail. It's loads of letters from Adrian, who's in a mental institution.
Good.
And that's the end of the film. So until next time. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe and check out this other video. Thank you.